Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. Welcome back for some GT4 action. We are back with the GT4s after a kind of a tiny little break due to server issues for the Xbox guys, but we are back and racing once again. We are live here at SimPlay Motorsport for the next round of the championship. This would now be round 3 of the season. And we are live in the United States of America in Laguna, Seca for the next round of the season. Obviously, due to the complications that we've been having with servers and with, obviously, the Xbox users having a server meltdown the other day, we have made a few alterations and changes to the GT4 Championship. Obviously, due to our usual format here, we'd like a reverse grid, and obviously due to the issues of the reverse grid not working for 3 races, we've opted to instead do another qualifying session going into this next session. But the top 10 in the championship cannot qualify in this session. So everybody else can do their normal qualifying sessions, but the top 10 in the championship will have to stay in the pit lane, and they will start from the back of the grid. That is the way we're going to get around this reverse grid. But nonetheless, we are here live at Laguna Seca for the next round of the season. We have a 10-minute qualifying session for this one. So, like I said, the top 10 cannot qualify. And I can tell you now who those 10 are. It is Matthew Duffin, Skunky, Friedman, Sam, Diz, Clouden, McGowan, Bell, Darren, and Nuclear Waste. Those guys are unable to qualify. We do have 2 of those guys missing, which is Nuclear Waste and Bell, but nonetheless everyone else can go out and qualify. Also, regarding those guys in the championships, the top 8 in the championship do have ballast, so if you to keep an eye on, Jamal Clouden tonight is carrying 15 kilos, with Diz carrying 20. We got Skunky carrying 35 kilos, and we got Matthew Duffy carrying the full 40 kilos. Then we got McGowan on 10 kilos, with Friedman on 30, 20 for Matt Wright as well. I'm not sure why Matt Wright has got... Oh, he's got 20 kilos because he's just joined this championship. So new drivers to the championship end up carrying the ballast on board. So we shouldn't see any of the top 10 going out on track. So it gives the other guys a very good opportunity to try and get a pole position. So an extra point here then for those guys. Laguna Seca, though, let's talk about this lovely circuit. The WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, also sponsored by Mazda previously in other sponsorships. This circuit is an FIA Grade 2, and it is based in California, United States of America, and was first opened back in the 9th of November 1957, 66 years ago, and was constructed at $1.5 million US. Obviously, the names that it has stuck to is Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca and just Laguna Seca Raceway. Famous race car championships that have been here is obviously the IndyCar series is very popular around this series, and they usually come here quite a lot. The IMSA Sport Car Championship, the American version of Le Mans, come here as well, but obviously it's mainly used for IndyCar. The current layout, the lap record is actually held by Alex Palou in an IndyCar of a 1:08.4, and for the GT3s, if I could quickly find them, GT3, we're looking at a 1:20.9 as the record in a Lamborghini Huracan done in 2024. I believe there's no GT4. Yes, there is a GT4 lap time. It's a 28.8, and that was done in a Mercedes AMG GT4. So look out to see how the AMGs do this evening. But that's Laguna Seca. A quick rundown. It's a very hot circuit, and currently the track temperature is at 23 degrees. Quick run of the championship standings then. It is Matthew Duffin leading the way with Skunky in second, Will Friedman in third with Sam in fourth, Diz sitting in fifth place with Jamal Clouden in sixth, seventh is McGowan in seventh, eighth is Darren Bell, ninth is Who Darren, and 10th is Nuclear Waste. Yeah, Nuclear Waste in 10th. Then we've got Tipping in 11th. Then another Ginetta of Shane, who sadly had to pull out of the championship due to issues with his wheel. So no Shane from now on. Andy is 13th with KLF in 14th, and all Ginetta 4 runners there. Then we've got the Porsche of Old Sim Racer sitting in 15th, and 16th going away of Rob Smith. Then we've got Sky Shondemeyer in 17th with Susie's Cream in 18th place position. 19th is DJ Phil with Gary Leach hoping to make an appearance. He is down in 20th position. Lucas is 21st with Rolo in 22nd. Darren, I think it's Darren Taylor. Darren Taylor, yeah. Dan Taylor, I apologise. I don't have a keyboard, sadly, Will, because I'm not lucky enough to have the fun of multiple keyboards. So sadly, it's going to have to be these cameras. I apologise. Yeah. So where was I? He's throwing me off there. Pontin is sitting in 24th position. Sorry, I now know where I am. 25th position is John Andrews. 26th is M. Collins. And in 27th is Star Dog. And Richard Beasley in 28th position. John Goudet, Kieran O'Reilly, Yoshi, and a few other drivers still yet to score points as of yet. But it is Kieran O'Reilly setting the pace at the minute ahead of Star Dog in second. And John Goudet in third. Rob Smith. Yeah, I believe you can do that, but it obviously then changes back as well. Yeah, it's not letting me change it for some reason. No, it's not wanting me to do anything. It's telling me this. I'm trying to hit triangle, but it's not letting me do it. So we're stuck, sadly, with these cameras, I'm afraid. Oh, I know how, actually. I remember how. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so that's all we got. Fantastic. This is what we start with. Anyway, Hugh Darren now sets the pace. He's gone fastest overall. Reminder as well, the top 8 in the championship are not able to qualify. So as it stands at the minute, these two at the back, Lucas and Gary Leach, need to get out on track and do a lap time, which they are. I'm going to look at it another time, Friedman. It's not really something I'm going to play with now, otherwise we'll miss all the action. But Hugh Darren setting the pace at the minute. There's a couple of cars coming to the line now. We've got the 67 next to come to the line. That is Tipping in the Ginetta, looking to try and put himself a little bit higher in the order. And right now he comes to the line and he goes P5 with that lap time. Next car on a valid lap looks like it is the 741. That is Star Dog. And into the final corner goes Star Dog. I'll look at getting the keyboard, Will Freeman, and try and do it that way. Star Dog to the line in the Porsche. Does he improve? Yes, he goes into P2. So an improvement there. We got the 74 now coming to the line, which is Kieran O'Reilly. Looking very strong in his Aston Martin in the Pro. Really put me under a lot of pressure towards the end of Kyle Lamy. What can he do in the GT4s in his little Ginetta? Looked solid last time out in his black Ginetta. Is he going to be just as strong here? Clarbo in the chat. Good evening all. Good luck to the gang. And O'Reilly doesn't improve on position, but it gets close. It's 2/10 between the top 4 at the minute, which we love to see. I believe we got the 993 of Hugh Darren back coming around into the final corner here. Up towards the line now, and any improvement for Hugh Darren? No improvement there, but he still stays at the top of the session. We've now got the 22, no, not the 22, it was the 53 of DJ Phil, I believe that was, and he doesn't improve, he stays where he is. I believe we got the number 8 of John Goudet, and then KLF just behind him. And John Goudet possibly running wide there and abusing the track limits ever so slightly. Towards the line he comes. Oh no, he does stay within limits and goes P2. KLF, what can he do? Any improvement? No improvement from him. But Rob, I think it was Rob Smith improved. I think, yeah, possibly just went straight to the pits. Or was it Tippings? I know somebody. Oh, it was Dan Taylor doing the improvement there, moving up a position. Who's now into the final few corners? It is the 131, Gary 131. Gary Leach into the final corner. Loves his Ginetta, loves the GT4s, and loves racing in this category. What can he do? Had a bad time out last time in Kyle Army in the pros, but he's back on top and into 6th place position. Definitely a few more lap time there to be found for him. Who Darren into the final corner once again. The Alpine looking very strong here at the minute. And he heads towards turn number 1. Any improvement? Yes, he does improve and finds another 2/10 there and to improve his position. The 67 looks like he's coming into the final corner. That is Tipping, making sure they get the corners all good. Good exits and head towards the line. Tipping, this will be his last lap. He improves to go to 7th. While the car in front of him, the 63 of Old Sim Racer, did not get a lap time on the board. John Goudet to the line, 3/10 off. No improvement and will stay in 2nd place position. Lucas not able to get a lap time on the board, but hopefully he will now. All these guys had to do is get a lap time so they could start ahead of the guys who are starting from the back. But Kieran O'Reilly now, can he improve on 4th? He's got Gary Leach right behind him as well, pushing in the Ginetta. 4 different manufacturers on the front. Is the Ginetta going to go on top? That is the question. Kieran O'Reilly to the line. He does go fastest. Gary Leach, what can he do now? No improvement and stays where he is. And who we got left to go around? It is DJ Phil and we got Lucas. And all Lucas has to do is put a lap time on the board. And into the final corner he comes, and he's run wide. That's invalidated his lap time, and he will be done for the session. It's just DJ Phil left to cross the line. And DJ Phil now looking to get a little bit further up the order. Can he get past KLF? He cannot, so DJ Phil will stay in 11th place position. But it's Kieran O'Reilly who takes pole position there. And a good lap time from him in the end, being 7/10 faster than Hugh Darren. So it's Ginetta on pole, ahead of the Alpine, ahead of the Mercedes, Porsche, another Alpine, and then it's all Ginetta together, another Alpine in P9, then another 2 Ginettas together, and then the 2 Porsches, followed by the guys in the top 10 in the championship. They are at the back of the grid. Lucas at the back as well, not able to get a lap time, nor did Old Sim Racer as well. So those guys struggling to get that lap time delivered. Now the track has gone too fast, and obviously you can see here on the screen that we're in Saturday at the minute, so the conditions are going to be a lot more trickier at the start of the evening. But as you can see, we go into another 5-minute practice session just so drivers can have a quick toilet break or grab a drink or whatever they need to do, into a 5-minute one-shot qualifying, and then into race 2. Another 5 minutes, another one-shot qualifying, and then into the final race. So guys, if you haven't done so, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. If you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then head over to our SimGrid and our Discord as well. All the information should be in our description below. And like I said, hit that like button. It does massively help us out here at SimPlay Motorsport.
20 seconds.
I'm trying to sort of poll out for you guys now, and let's get a prediction. Also, while you're at it,
10 seconds.
Head down into the description below as well, and in the description you'll find two of our fantastic sponsors. We have Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics and laser engraved gifts, mugs and printed clothing, much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Head over to their Facebook page, which is in the description. And then we've also got Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk, or their Facebook link is in the description as well. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube as well. And as you know as well, if you join the Discord, you are able to find multiple driver streams as well, so you can actually see what the drivers are up to, not just in SimPlay days but also outside of SimPlay. I know a lot of drivers like to compete in different places, so it's always good to go and support the drivers in what they do. Right, so let's try and get a prediction up on the board so you guys can predict who you think is going to win this race. Like I said, smash that like button, hit that button to subscribe as well so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. The bell obviously will notify you as well when we are live. So there we go, we have got a poll up on the board. So get your votes in on who you think is going to win this first race. Is it going to be O'Reilly, Darren Goudet, or Stardog? That is the question. Or if you think it's somebody else, then feel free to put your opinion in the chat as well, so we can see what you think as well. But nonetheless, we are about to get underway for the first time this week at Laguna Seca. GT4's first things first to get our schedule underway. The 3 20-minute races, flat out from lights to flag, no pit stops, and just pure hard racing. Then tomorrow night, myself and Matthew Duffin will bring you all the action from the Pro-Am category. And as I say, we will it'll be an interesting day's worth of racing for the Pro-Ams. It's going to be tricky for the GT3s because there's a big cars around this really tight circuit, but we'll see how they all get on as they now make their final preparations going into this one. But it's Ginetta against Alpine for the front row. The two smaller cars. Kind of predicted these two to be near the front. It's quite a nice tight twisty circuit. Definitely suits these cars. But let's get things underway here. Into the final corner they go as they will get themselves prepared and ready to send themselves down towards Andretti hairpin for the first time this evening. We are now waiting for the green light.
Green light.
We are green and go in Laguna Seca, California. Darren got a good jump at the start, but O'Reilly with the inside has got the run, and John Goudet is going to try and go with him as they all feel their way down to turn number 1, and Gary Leach around the outside if he possibly can, but can't quite get the momentum, and John Goudet works his way up into second place position, but it's O'Reilly who leads them out. Anything happening in the mid-pack? They're all bouncing over the curb trying to make their way through. His tipping has had a spin, but he's managed to face the right way, and KLF managed to get involved in that. Meanwhile, Clouden is in the middle of all this while they're all trying to work their way around, and I think Clouden has actually gone off. Oh, no, he's actually worked his way through. Who's gone off then? Somebody towards the back of the pack. Not sure who it was in the end. But nonetheless, it is Kieran O'Reilly leading the way from John Goudet, from Darren, from Gary Leach, from Dan Taylor, from Stardog, from Tipping. Clouden and Tipping. And there we see Rob Smith spinning and going off. He's had a moment. He's got to make sure he joins back on track safely. It was KLF who dropped down the order. He's now wheel to wheel with Will Friedman. And Tipping has had another moment through the corkscrew and will drop down the order. Who's that right at the very back? That's obviously Rob Smith and Tipping dropping to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Darren going around the outside of John Goudet into the final corner, and Gary Leach is having a bit of the action as well. So Gary Leach, optimistic as always, and he goes up into P3 and now giving John Goudet a headache as they head down towards turn number 1. Gary Leach looking up the inside. John's trying to break later than Gary Leach, but he goes deep, he goes wide, and Gary Leach gets the job done. He is now up into P2. Can he do anything about O'Reilly, who's got the fastest lap? And there goes Hugh Darren. Too much on the dirt, and around he goes. Clouden, meanwhile, and Skunky are on a move, and they're up into 6th and 7th place position. McGowan also just behind them. Matt Wright, his first attempt into the GT4s, he's got Duffin right behind him, and there goes Will Friedman working his way through the order as well, and a few others drop into the pack. KLF's dropped to the back with Diz, Rob Smith, and Tipping all to the back. Rolo and Matthew Lucas and DJ Phil all benefiting from that. But it's O'Reilly leading the way from Gary Leach, who's obviously been fighting with John Goudet. Dan Taylor is now up into 4th place against Stardog. Then we've got Clouden trying to catch the leading pack with Skunky there as well. Who's dropped down the order now? I believe we've got another car dropping down the order. Diz has lost a little bit of time to the KLF, but nonetheless, it is Kieran O'Reilly leading the way. Clouden on a mission to try and catch these guys. Looked very good in practice in that Chevy. Meanwhile, Will Friedman looking to the outside of Matt, but can't find a way through. Matt's run wide. That is allowing Will to come up the inside and try and get a better run down towards Andretti Hairpin. Over the crest they go and into Andretti Hairpin, and he's pretty much got the job done. But Aston Martin, very good in a straight line compared to the Porsche, but stays in front. Meanwhile, Andy looking up the inside as well on Matt Wright to possibly sneak another position. But looks like Matt Wright's got the inside covered for turn 2. And he does so indeed. Matt Wright hangs on to that position. O'Reilly, meanwhile, trying to pull away from Leach. Leach trying to go with him. Meanwhile, we got Goudet and Taylor running wide there, and that's allowing Stardog and Clouden to get onto the back of him. Stardog now looking up the inside of Taylor, going up to the turn 6 kink, up towards... Oh, and Clouden's made contact with Stardog. So Clouden comes off worst and now drops down the order. Just got a little bit too good. He looks so confident, looks so strong there, did Clouden. He just made the slightest contact. Meanwhile, Skunky is on the move as well. He's onto the back of McGowan. I think McGowan actually has made a move onto him. So Skunky's lost out of position. So Stardog now seems to be the trolley train of this group at the minute. Meanwhile, Gary Leach not really making any inroads at this stage on O'Reilly. But he's going to try his very best to hunt him down. Any closer fights at the minute? Probably your closest fight is this at the minute. Matt Wright and Andy going at it side by side, heading down towards turn number 1. Matt Wright trying to go around the outside. He touched the dirt ever so slightly, but Andy will get the job done up the inside, and Matt can't undercut underneath him. Meanwhile, we've got Lucas up the inside of old Sim Racer. And that's a lovely move there done by him, and DJ Phil's trying to go with him. Meanwhile, Rolo is being under pressure from Diz, and KLF has dropped behind all these guys as well. Rolo defending the inside there as Diz and Clouden look to try and make a move. Diz around the outside. Clouden's trying to hold it strong there as well, but Clouden on the dirt. The Chevy can run the dirt better than any other car. But he has to sit in the slipstream once again. Up towards the left-hand kink. There you go. A bit of a train now as McGowan has passed Stardog. And it's Hugh Darren holding up this train. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin has caught up to his championship rival, Skunky. Will Friedman, though, is also wanting to go with them. And they're all relatively close to one another. Friedman looking very fast at the minute. Looking left, looking right to try and dive up the inside. And Matt sends up the inside of Skunky. Skunky left the door wide open, and through goes Matthew. Skunky just allowing Friedman through there. Just has not got the pace at the minute, possibly. Meanwhile, Gary Leach has had a bit of a moment, touching the gravel. John Goudet put away from Taylor. Can McGowan do anything about the guys in front? Stardog under pressure from Hugh Darren. Duffin now trying to put it away from Friedman. Any other fights going on as KLF's cleared a lot of cars here. He's ahead of Rob Smith, Collins, Rolo and Clouden. So possibly another trip for Clouden once again, dropping to the back of the pack. As you see there, Rob Smith looking up the inside of KLF. He bounces over the curb, but can't do anything about it there. Meanwhile, we've got a lovely train forming here. Hugh Darren's got more pace than Stardog at the minute, but after his little mistake, he's going to try and send it up into the corkscrew, but he's not quite close enough. Stardog defends brilliantly, while he's got three very fast drivers behind them. Skunky just off the back of this fight at the minute. Probably just sitting and watching as Hugh Darren's looking for any opportunity to get past the Porsche. Meanwhile, these two, Matt Wright and Andy, are still going at it, but Duffin was looking very racy in the final sector. Was he thinking about sending it up the inside of Hugh Darren? That was the question. Hugh Darren right on the rear wing of the Porsche. Is he going to send it into turn number one? He hasn't quite got the confidence on the brakes and just sits falling behind. But the Porsche's run wide. Hugh Darren's up the inside. But the Porsche driver of Stardog will still have the inside for turn three. And he'll just run him out of road if he possibly can. Matt's giving him a push as it goes. But Stardog loses out to Hugh Darren. But he's got Matthew Duffin and Friedman still breathing down his neck. And now Skunky, who's come onto the back of this fight. Meanwhile, KLF's got a train forming behind him. He's got Rob Smith and Clouden as well, all sitting behind him. Up to the corkscrew they go. Skunky running a bit wide in his Ginetta. As Hugh Darren sends it into the corkscrew, but it's Stardog who's the cork in the bottle at the minute. Friedman's right behind Duffin, waiting for any opportunity just to send it up the inside and get past him. Friedman wants to score as many points as he possibly can and try and get onto the terms in this championship, which I believe he definitely can. Into the final corner we go. Not quite close enough this time round. Meanwhile, the leading group is also looking quite spicy as McGowan has actually passed John Goudet. What has happened to Taylor? Taylor's now a part of this squabble. So he got pushed out wide possibly, but he's now ahead of this squabble, so he's now going to be under some immense pressure as John Goudet losing out to Ian there. Oh, and Will Friedman, sorry, has already got past Matthew Duffin and Stardog down the main straight, but Matthew Duffin back up the inside of Will Friedman. Will Friedman drops behind Matt and gets back into his toe. Stardog's behind them, and Skunky's still not been able to clear any cars at this stage, as they all now work on Dan Taylor. KLF cashing old Sim Racer as he's got Clouden and Rob Smith right behind him, as Rolo drops to the back of the pack. Any other fights that are going on in this mid-pack? We've got Lucas and Diz are going at it, and DJ Phil is just ahead of them. But just past the halfway stage, it is still O'Reilly comfortably out in front and has got this race under control at this minute. Majority reckon O'Reilly's going to win this race ahead of Gary Leach in second. Ian is currently in third place position with John sitting in fourth. Hugh Darren fifth. Dan Taylor in sixth. Matthew Duff in seventh with Friedman not letting him go. Stardog still in that ninth place, but Skunky's breathing down his neck. Matt Wright has dropped Andy with DJ Phil in 13th. Lucas 14th. Diz in 15th. Old Sim Racer is now being passed, dropped down to 17th as Clouden now moves up to 16th. KLF still defending from Collins, Rob Smith and Tipping and Rolo at the back of the pack. Dan Taylor going a little bit wide there. He does have a great exit though. But he's a little bit all over the shot, and now he's performing a 5-car train at the minute. And Duffin's at the front of this train, and he wants to get off as soon as he possibly can, steaming into that 6th place position that Dan Taylor currently has at the minute. Who Darren, the only one to clear this group at the minute. And looks like Dan Taylor has a slide. That's the door opening for Duffin. And up the inside he goes. Will Friedman be able to go with him? He's going to go with him. He's going to go side by side with Taylor. And Taylor really has to give up that position. But he's going to hang in there. He's going to hang in it strong on the outside. Friedman gives him the space and respect. But although he tried so hard for it, Taylor still loses out to Friedman. Great racing, great respect from those two. But Taylor's coming back down the inside, but he can't quite get the run. Stardog now is pressurizing Taylor. Skunky sending it up the inside of Stardog. So he now getting into position. Position's changing left, right, and Taylor's gone wide. Now, Who Darren is on the back of John Goudet. So Goudet hanged in there for as long as he possibly can, but he's now starting to get swamped by the faster cars. And Who Darren now really pressurising John Goudet as they come into the middle sector. Can't afford to make any mistakes here as Who Darren is going to look up the inside of turn 4. He's not quite far enough alongside. But Goudet runs wide. They both have particularly poor exits, but Who Darren has a relatively good run, but he's on the wrong side of the circuit. But Goudet's just in the middle of the circuit, just planting that car exactly where it needs to be. And at the minute, he is getting held up pretty bad. Meanwhile, Clouden has already cleared Lucas, Diz, and Old Sim Racer. While KLF is still holding up Rob Smith, tipping Collins, and Rolo's gone off at turn 2. Oh, Goudet a little bit squirrely through the corkscrew. Who Darren looking left, looking right. He's up the inside. Trying to find a way through if he possibly can, but can't seem to do so at this stage. While these are all battling on, and Matthew Duff is catching, but Friedman runs wide. No other real scraps at the minute. And it's really this two-way fight between Goudet and Darren. Down towards turn number 1. Darren's going to go for the outside line this time. Braked much later in our Alpine. But couldn't quite get the overcut he needed. You just got to try and get Goudet to make a mistake. Goudet has run wide. He's onto the dirt. And John Goudet still just hanging in there. But the longer and longer these two take, the more and more the championship leaders will start to work their way closer to him. Up towards the hill they come. KLF still, meanwhile, is defending heavily from... Oh, no, he's actually now caught onto the back of Old Sim Racer. And, sorry, Rob Smith has got past KLF. So Rob Smith has passed him and is now onto the back of Old Sim Racer. A bit of dirt being kicked up further in front. But again, Who Darren can't find a way through. Goudet just putting his car right in the middle of the road. They get very, very close. But Who Darren can't find a way through at this stage. And just in the background, lurking there is Duffin and Friedman, who are absolutely flying. Skunky this race has not really been able to go with them. These two have kind of worked as a pair to work their way through the order. And once again, Goudet hangs in there for another lap. He's got a while to go yet, 4.5 minutes yet to go. And Friedman now looking to the outside of Duffin. Is he going to try and get the undercut, try and get a better exit if he possibly can? Or is he going to allow Duffin just to try and force his way through this pack? Who Darren will be getting impatient now. He'll see the two championship contenders flying their way through the end. You see Duffin's had a great run through turn 4. He's looking up the inside of the Alpine, and he can't quite get far enough alongside. And Who Darren just stays in front. He's going to stay in the tow of Goudet as they head up towards the kink. If Matt stays alongside, that is brave. He doesn't. He pulls out of it. And Who Darren gets a great run through there, actually. Heading up towards the corkscrew. He's going to go side by side with Goudet. Can Darren get a stop? No. As Goudet goes straight on, probably due to contact from Darren. But Goudet drops down the order and loses not just to Duffin, but also to Friedman, who's come off with contact there. And Goudet, not wanting to lose another position, pushes Friedman off ever so slightly. So Goudet was in a 4th place position, has now dropped down to 6th. Friedman now wanting to recover and come back at the Goudet. Meanwhile, Clouden has now cleared DJ Phil. And a very long recovery drive this is for Clouden. For the top 3, quite a race so far. O'Reilly, the fastest lap of the race, long gone into the distance. Leach in 2nd. Ian in 3rd, and Hugh Darren now under some immense pressure from Duffin, who has a moment through the 4th corner. And again, this is your closest fight. Hugh Darren now having to try and defend from Matthew Duffin. Up towards the left-hand kink. I think Hugh Darren ran a little bit wide through there. He's going to compromise his run up towards the corkscrew. He hits the curb quite hard there, and the back end of the Alpine stepping out ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Friedman's not been able to just get onto the back of Goudet just as easy. Ever since he's lost touch with Duffin, he's just kind of lost his pace ever so slightly. And Duffin sends it up the inside into the final corner and gets it stopped, gets in front of Hugh Darren, and job done there for Matthew Duffin, up into 4th place position now from the back of the pack. Can he defend from the Alpine? That is the question. Hugh Darren's still got a bit of pace in him. Oh, Matthew's been spun round by Hugh Darren. He drops down the order. He's trying to get it going as quickly as he can without being an unsafe rejoin. He manages to get it spun round. But Hugh Darren spins him round. He waits for Duffin, and he allows him back through. That drops him right down the order. Andy is just ahead of these guys. So Duffin's dropped all the way down to 11th. Friedman now up into 4th place position. Gifted to him, that was. With Skunky now in 5th. Goudet has dropped down to 6th. Probably trying to avoid the incident there. But O'Reilly into the final few couple of corners. Is that Leach off? No, it's not Leach, sorry. Who is that off? Who is that off? That is Rolo. He's had another moment. Well, O'Reilly coming into the final corner as he's going to start his final lap here. He does indeed. So we've got one more lap to go. As Gary's made a mistake, because Ian's now caught him relatively quickly and is now onto the back of him. Everywhere else looking relatively stable. Yeah, relatively stable at the minute. No fights going on at the moment. Tipping and KLF are having a little fight. Rolo's had another moment. He's got to be careful when rejoining, which he tries to stay well out of the way as best he can. But Gary's looking a little bit fishtaily there. Gary just trying to hang in there right to the very end of this race. And Tippett and KLF still going at it. Goudet was trying to pass Stardog. But Stardog has got... Sorry, Goudet's lost out to Stardog here. And now Taylor wants a bit of the action as well. But we've got Gary Leach and Ian going at it once again up towards the corkscrew. Leach going a little bit deep through the corkscrew, and that's going to allow Ian to have a look through. But we go back to Kieran O'Reilly. Started on pole position, has led every single lap, has taken the fastest lap as well. That is a grand slam for that race. Kieran O'Reilly wins the first race here tonight at Laguna Seca. And it's going to be either Gary or Ian. It looks like it's going to be Gary for second place. Gary on the podium there for himself. Second place for him. Ian in third. It's going to be Friedman to come home in 4th place position. Rolo will finish in 22nd. So Friedman working his way from the back of the pack to finish in 4th. Skunky in 5th. Goudet finishes ahead of Stardog in 6th and 7th. Taylor in 8th. Knight goes to right. Duffin in 10th. Andy in 11th. Darren 12th. Clouden 13th. Diz will finish in 14th place position. Here he comes now. Comes Diz across the line in 14th place. DJ Phil in 15th. Lucas is going to finish in 16th place position, with Rob Smith not too far behind in 17th. Old Sim Racer will finish in 18th, with Matthew Collins completing 19th place position. And right to the very end, the two Genettas of Tippings and KLF are going at it to the line, but it's going to be KLF who stays ahead of Tipping to complete the order. But it's O'Reilly who takes the win from Leach, from McGowan as well. We will be back in a few moments' time as we will now head to a quick 5-minute break, but we will be back with the second qualifying in just a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. We are back underway here at Laguna Seca for the next race. Race 2 is now underway, but obviously due to our format, we are now going into second qualifying, and it is only 5 minutes. So these guys have only got 5 minutes to get out on track and get a couple of lap times on the board. If you're Diz and you have a pretty clean session, you'll be able to get a couple of laps in. So all these guys now will be looking to try and get some clean air and try and get some lap times on the board. As I will now try and get the standings up on my screen and let you know where the championship is now after the first race. And so the tables have not been updated yet, I don't think. I'll just quickly update that moment. There we go. So it's Matthew Duffin still leading the way ahead of Skunky in second. Then it's Friedman in third. Ian in fourth with Diz in fifth. Cloudens dropped down to sixth with Sam in seventh. Eighth is now who Darren Bell dropped to ninth with Tipping in 10th. Nuclear Waste in 11th. Andy in 12th. Shane in 13th with KLF in 14th with Old Sim Racer 15th. Rob Smith 16th. Leach in 17th. 18th is DJ Phil. 19th is Sky Shondameyer. Susie Scream 20th. 21st is Lucas. Taylor in 22nd. Rolo 23rd. Collins 24th with O'Reilly 25th. Pottin in 26th. Stardog 27th. John Andrews in 28th. John Goudet 29th. Matt Wright in 30th. And Beasley at the back of the pack. It is going to be Diz to set the first lap. Already a couple of guys still in the pits though who haven't been able to get out on track just this yet. They want to hurry up as quickly as they possibly can to try and get some lap times on the board. As we've got Alex Marshall in the chat saying, come on, Matt Wright. Come on, Matt, indeed. See how he gets on in these GT4s. Very close, compact cars. Very great cars to watch in racing. And obviously, a lot of these drivers are carrying the ballast. And a reminder as well is Cloud and Diz, Skunky, Matthew Duffin, Ian, Will, and Matt all carrying the weight. Due to obviously being new to the championship today, as Diz sets the pace at 31.2. As yep, Peaceful Explosion in the chat says quite a few not qualifying other than those who are on qualifying bans. And yes, there is a few on qualifying bans. Meanwhile, we are on board with Clouden. One's on qualifying bans is Skunky is one of them. I believe also Sky. Not sure who else as well, but it's only Skunky I can really see who's on a qualifying ban from that. But O'Reilly setting the pace now at 30.3. Clouden getting relatively close. Ian in that third place position. Duffin in fourth, even with the weight on board. A good lap time from him. I believe it's the what car is that in the final sector? I believe it might be the 53 of DJ Phil. Yes, it is. He now comes to the line and puts himself in 8th place position. And now we've got a few more coming to the line. As Diz now on a lap. 16 seconds. All those in the pits are done and dusted. They won't get a lap time on the board. Diz, any improvement? None indeed. But Duffin improves and goes up to P3. He will get another lap in. Now we've got a few cars coming to the final few corners. Andy's coming to the line. Friedman manages to get lap time on the board and goes into third. Wright goes into seventh. Andy now to the line, no improvement. What does Ian do? Ian goes pole position in the Mercedes-Benz. What can O'Reilly do in the... He now takes the pole position back 3/10 faster. Duffin is still on a lap though. Who else is on a lap? Gary Leach is on one. KLF didn't get a lap time on the board, but he's relatively high in the pit lane, so it helps him out. Gary Leach now. Good exit out the final corner. What can he do? He comes to the line. He goes P6 with that effort, so just behind his good friend Matthew Duffin, who is still on a lap at the minute, as is DJ Phil. DJ Phil into the final corner he goes. And try and get himself a good run to the line. And DJ Phil will go to P10. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin's still on a lap time. And he's messed it up in the final corner, so Duffin will have to start 5th place in this one. But it's O'Reilly, the first man into the 29s, and another pole position to his name. With no weight on board, it's going to help him out massively. But he's got a couple of quick cars around him still, so we'll see how he gets on with that. Now I'm going to start another pole once again. So we have O'Reilly on the front of the grid. Can he take 2 for 2? Can he do another Grand Slam here? And we got McGowan as well on the front row. Another Mercedes driver there. Clouden showed great pace in the race, but caught up in a few little incidences as well. Didn't help him out. And then we got Friedman just behind them. Like I said, guys, don't forget to hit that like button on your screen. As many likes as we possibly can on the stream would be absolutely brilliant. Hit that subscribe button as well if you like what we do here at SimPlay Motorsport. And hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action that we do here. While you're there as well, head over to the description as well. And in the description, you'll see our two fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. Audio Sport, they are manufacturers of Volkswagen Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk or over to their Facebook page. And you've got Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much, much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Head over to Facebook to see all their lovely work. But we've got a Ginetta and a Mercedes on the front row. Riley is in a bit of a groove here at the minute, as Matt, after qualifying, has dropped himself back into pit lane. He had not readied up quickly enough. But we got 4 different manufacturers on the front row. Sorry, 4 different manufacturers at the front. The Ginetta, Mercedes, Chevy, and the Porsche. We've got another Mercedes-Benz with a Ginetta and a BMW there. The Aston Martin in the pit lane. The only Aston Martin here tonight. Normally we see a lot more from the FBR boys, but sadly not a lot of them tonight. I believe it is only Diz, Rob Smith. No, not Rob Smith. Diz only. Yeah, I think it's only Diz representing FBR tonight. So sad not to see many of the boys in, but obviously a lot more happens in the background, so not everyone can make it to every race. So guys, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. O'Reilly is on pole. If you don't think it's any of the 4 that I've just put in the poll, then feel free to put your votes in the chat on who you think is going to win this one. So another look, it is O'Reilly on the front row, from Ian, from Clouden, from Friedman, from Duffin, from Leach, from Diz, from Andy, from DJ Phil, from Rolo, from Old Sim Racer, from Rob, from KLF, Dan Taylor, Hugh Darren, Matthew Collins. And it's put me into drive. That's annoying. Well, I would have loved to have had a different perspective, but we're not going to get it. We will try and go on board with O'Reilly while the camera's decided to just poo himself a minute. Where's O'Reilly? Excuse me. We'll go on board with Clouden for the start of this race then. So they all line up, getting themselves into a 2x2 formation. Race 2 of Laguna Seca for the GT4s. It is O'Reilly on the front row. Once again, taking pole position. Is he going to go for another Grand Slam? That is the question. As we are about to go green here at Laguna. Once again, we are green and go here at Laguna Seca, and Clouden did not get the best of starts there, and Ian straight away closes off the Chevy, but he's going to stick his nose in still there and go up the inside of the Mercedes-Benz, and Ian's going to try and go strong around the outside, but he can't seem to do so, and that's going to open the door for Clouden, who's got a tighter line, but they make contact. Friedman staying strong on the outside of Duffin, and he's going to keep his nose just ahead of Duffin going into the first couple of corners here. O'Reilly with the jump already, pulling a gap of 7/10 from Ian, heading himself down towards turn number 5. But Clouden looking very racy behind him. Everyone else relatively clean so far. Skunky's dropped down the order. Well, actually, he's working his way up the order. He didn't get to qualify, so he's working his way through. Over to the Kington KLF. Tries to hang it strong now. He's gone round. He's gone into the middle of the circuit, but he's managed to just keep it going. Around he goes, but he's taken Hugh Darren with him. And he's struggling to get himself going there. But it's O'Reilly from Ian, from Jamal, from Will, from Matthew, from Gary, from Diz, from Andy, from Phil, from Old Sim Racer, your top 10 at the minute. But O'Reilly hasn't got quite the easiest start to this race so far. As there are trainer cars sitting right behind Kieran. But down towards turn number 1 they go. And at the minute, if anything, Clouden's the one under pressure from Will at the minute in the Porsche. Sitting right behind him. Meanwhile, further back, Rolo is under pressure from Gouda, who's up the inside and gets the job done. Rolo's car just wanting to snap all of a sudden out of nowhere. Meanwhile, KLF has caught onto the back of Hugh Darren as they manage to get themselves going once again. Tipping, the biggest loser there, he's dropped down to the back of the pack. Skunky on another move there, he's looking to pass Rob Smith. Up the inside of the left-hander, he is alongside and he gets the job done. Next one on his list is Old Sim Racer. Meanwhile, O'Reilly trying to pull a gap as quickly as he can from from McGowl, but he can't do it at the minute. Clouden just hanging in there. Friedman sitting on the back bumper. One Matt still ahead of Gary Leach, ahead of Diz, ahead of Andy. That's your leading 8 at the minute, who've got a nice gap as Skunky now up the inside of DJ Phil. They go door to door and Skunky will get the job done. Is DJ Phil going to send it up the inside? Yes, he is. DJ Phil hangs it in there and Skunky has to react. And Skunky is going to come back into the hairpin. No, he's not. And DJ Phil holding his end strong there. But the Janetta of O'Reilly now starting to stretch his legs, starting to get a little bit more confidence in him. Skunky though, when is he going to get the job done on DJ Phil? He's gone a little bit deep into turn 1. Oh, and Skunky himself's run wide. But everyone else relatively even at the minute. As Stardog is looking up the inside of Rolo, but he's going to be on the outside for the next corner. Rolo bouncing over the curb there. and manages to stay ahead of his fellow Porsche driver. Sound like there was a car off there, but it weren't. So at the minute, Leach is the one who's putting some pressure on his good friend Duffin. And O'Reilly's had a moment. That's probably where I heard the gravel. O'Reilly's lost the lead of this race. So now Ian leads this race. So Kieran O'Reilly must have had a moment or something. Not sure where. Possibly that's where I heard the dirt coming from. And I'm just trying to look at the track map. Yeah, he ran wide at the kink. And that gave the opportunity for Ian to come up the inside. So O'Reilly has to do the job of getting back past Ian once again. Down towards the head, but Matt's just lost touch with the guys in front. I think Gary Leach is looking to make some moves on him instead, as Clouden goes a little bit deep in turn one. But Ian now just leading this pack. He's just trying to control the pace. Meanwhile, Skunky still can't get past DJ Phil until DJ Phil's around wide. Skunky swoops underneath and says thank you very much. And away he goes. Who Darren now pushing against Stardog, who's looking to the outside. Does Who Darren, but Stardog closes the door. And Who Darren can't find a way through. You know, O'Reilly's lost out to Clouden here, and Ian's long gone up into the distance. So Clouden has managed to jump O'Reilly there, and O'Reilly dropping down the order. Friedman now onto the back end of the Ginetta. Up towards the corkscrew, there you go. Clouden goes a little bit deep into the corkscrew. That's going to make him vulnerable to the Ginetta. Heading down the hill they come. Into the final corner, they go. This is allowing Ian to just disappear up the road now. But I think Clouden's got quite the pace to go with Ian at this stage. They all cross the line. Kieran's got to try and get back on his form, because Friedman's now looking up the inside of turn number one. Is it his turn to have a go at the Ginetta? Meanwhile, there's a whole gaggle of cars here. Taylor up the inside of old Sim Racer. And John Goudet looking up the inside of DJ Phil. And DJ Phil there losing out to Goudet. But we go back to this fight. O'Reilly still defending from Friedman ever since he's been on the back foot. Since he made that mistake up at this kink, he's been trying to stay ahead as much as he possibly can. Just needs to get himself back into a groove. And Clouden once again running deep into the corkscrew, bouncing all over it. The Chevy's brake aren't really great at all, so he's probably struggling with the braking going into the corkscrew. But Jamal Clouden once again just holding up this pack. It has now allowed Gary and Diz to get onto the back of it, so it's now turned in from a pretty much a six-way fight. Diz just a little bit off the pace at the minute, but that BMW is very strong in a straight line. O'Reilly defending the inside, Friedman to the outside. He's going to try and outbrake him, but he's not far enough alongside to get the job done, and Duffin's there just in case. Nothing else really going else on at the minute. I think Diz has just lost out to these guys ever so slightly, just struggling to stick with them. And O'Reilly's all over the grass there. And then once again, he's on the grass. Clouden making a mistake, and that's going to allow Riley to make a mistake, and that puts Friedman and Duffin through. Is Duffin going to try and go around the outside of O'Reilly? Yes, he gets the job done. It's now Leach's turn to have a go. But Ian now taking fastest lap of the race and pulling away. Friedman and Duffin now carrying on their fight from the first race. But this time it's Friedman in ahead of Duffin. Can Friedman do anything about the Chevy? He's looked very racy in that Porsche tonight. And can he find a way through on Jamal as Ian pulls away? And here comes Will now. He's had a great run through the first couple of corners. We've got a car back into the pits. That is Lucas. He's returned to pit lane. Don't know if that was a disconnection, possibly so. Unsure on that one, but we'll have to check on that one. I think we lost another driver by the looks of things. Server looking okay at the minute, but Ian leading away from Jamal. Third is Friedman. Fourth is Duffin. O'Reilly fifth. Leach still sat there behind O'Reilly. It's now a fight between the two Ginettas. Five different cars in the top five.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
We are now halfway through this race. The majority reckon that O'Reilly was going to win this one. I don't think that's going to happen now unless something dramatic happens, but Ian looks like he's got this all under control at this stage. There he is into the final corner and a comfortable gap over Clouden. Ahead of Will, ahead of Duffin, and then Gary Leach has managed to get O'Reilly. He did that up into the corkscrew. But O'Reilly's now coming back at Gary Leach. As Gary Leach now just trying to pull away from O'Reilly. He set pole position, did O'Reilly, but he's not really had much luck with the pace here in the race. Goude's under some pressure from Taylor here. Taylor looking for any way he can to get past. KLF's catching onto the back of Collins as well. The race leader Ian pulling away out in front ahead of Jamal, ahead of Friedman who's going with him. Duffin just behind these two with Leach in 5th place position. O'Reilly just behind him and Diz in 7th. And once again, Jamal just takes a awkward line through the corkscrew. And that's going to allow Friedman any opportunity at any point to just send it up the inside in the Porsche. Going to the outside of the final corner, Clouden takes a much tighter line. And that's going to allow Friedman to get the undercut. He's not quite close enough though. Instead, Duffin gets the run on Friedman. So Friedman trying to close the door on Duffin so he can't get through. And Duffin has to go to the outside. This gives Clouden a little bit of breathing space for a moment. And Gary Leach runs a little bit wide. That's going to give O'Reilly a sniff on opportunity, but he's not quite got the run. And he has to stay behind. Diz must be getting frustrated because you can see them all squabbling, but he's not quite close enough to get there. KLF, meanwhile, has got Matt Wright hunting him down. And they're all trying to catch Collins at the same time. But we go back to this three-way fight for second place in the race. Oh, O'Reilly's gone. He's caught it, though. O'Reilly making the mistake and has allowed the BMW of Diz to go through, and now we've got 6 different manufacturers. We've only got 5 different manufacturers in the top 6. But Ian driving spectacularly at the minute, nice and controlled at the front, not pushing too hard, as Clouden is still holding up the rest of the pack. Andy and Skunky have been trying to work their way onto the back of this pack, but haven't really managed to do so. They're kind of in no man's land at the minute, as Taylor has cleared John Goudet, who Darren, I think, has cleared Goudet as well. Yes, he has. So it's the fight between the Alpines towards the end of this race. And KLF now is looking to try and find a way past Matt Wright, who's got past both Collins and KLF. Not sure where he'd done that. And Rob Smith's on the back of it as KLF tries to dummy Matt into the final corner. Can't quite get enough alongside. But once again, these three are back at it. Ian has lost a little bit of time, but not a massive amount. These two are too busy fighting to really worry about it. As Friedman runs wide, he keeps it pinned. And Duffin now up the inside towards the corkscrew. Freeman tries to break with him, but Matthew hits Clouden. Clouden goes round, Matthew gets caught up in all that. Gary Leach benefits from it and goes through. Where is Jamal Clouden? He has got going once again. Where is Duffin? Duffin's ahead, and Matt has now got to try and give the position back if he feels like he needs to. Jamal Clouden's been mugged though by the Ginetta of O'Reilly, and now Diz. So O'Reilly up the inside of Duffin. Where is Clouden in all this? There he is, and Duffin's still trying to give the position back, and he has managed to do so. But as doing so, Diz has had a run, but he's not quite close enough. O'Reilly's gone very deep into turn number one. Matt's given the place back to Clouden and straight back up the inside. And Clouden on the inside now of Duffin. O'Reilly once again having a squirrely moment there. And Duffin having to run wide. Diz is now there. Matt's bouncing over the curb. Up towards the left-hander, but again, Will Friedman gifted another second place here. Matt trying hard to fight with Friedman, trying to outbreak him, but he just went in too deep and caught the back end of Clouden, and obviously had to then give that position back. Everywhere else is pretty much stabilized at this stage, but it is Ian who is under control in this race. He's got 3.5 minutes left to go of this race, and a 7.1 gap to Friedman. Gary Leach in third, with O'Reilly in fourth, Clouden fifth, Duff in sixth, Diz in seventh. Andy is in that 8th place position, being hunted down by Skunky in 9th. Taylor is in that 10th place position, leading the Alpine fight between himself and Hugh Darren. John Goudet currently in 12th place position, with Stardog in 13th, Old Sim Racer in that 14th place position. And he's just ahead of DJ Phil. Matt Wright in 16th, KLF in 17th, 18th is Matthew Collins, Rob Smith in 19th, Tipping in 20th, and Lucas, from what I've seen in the chat, his wheel had died on him, so that's why he returned to pit lane. Oh, Clouden has a moment there, and that's going to give Duffin a sniff an opportunity. He can see the Chevy is struggling right now. When can Duffin get the job done? That is the question. Clouden still trying to hang in there in the Camaro. He takes an interesting line through the corkscrew, and it makes him loose every time, does Clouden. And I think he thinks because the Chevy's so good at taking curves, he can take quite a lot of the corkscrew, but it's actually hurting him at the minute. And Duffin's really looking interested to try and sneak up the inside. He's going around the outside of the final corner. That was always going to be a bold move, never going to happen. Unless he just missed his brakes just to avoid contact. As Hugh Darren and Taylor are still going out. Taylor gives the position to Hugh Darren there, and Hugh Darren gets the job done. Meanwhile, Stardog is back onto Goudet. And Rob Smith looking to try and make a move on Collins. But can't seem to do so at the minute. Once again, Clouden runs wide in that turn 4. Diz is now snuck onto the back of this fight. But every time Diz seems to get close, he then drops off the pack a little bit more. And I will believe Ian will go into another lap here. He can't really afford to slow down because Will is only 5.4 behind. But Ian now into the final corner. And just to make sure that it's not the final lap, he will start his final lap now.
Leaders on final lap now.
And Friedman looking good for another solid P2 here. Gary Leach now starting to get caught by O'Reilly. That's now 8/10. That could go right to the very end. Duffin is now back onto Clouden once again, as Skunky is looking interested on Andy as well. Stardog has got past Goudet as well, so Stardog moving up a position. KLF's gone deep at the corkscrew and Rob Smith's gone with him. They both go straight on. So it's a Ginetta fight between the final podium positions between Gary Leach and O'Reilly. But Duffin now just seems to have lost. He's flashing the lights at Clouden, but he's just lost pace to him now and is dropping further back from him. Meanwhile, Friedman's pace right at the end has been absolutely mighty. He has brought that gap down to Ian by 3.7 by the end of it. But Ian, though, kept it clean, kept it smooth, and kept it under control. He's going to take a fastest lap, unless Will is going for it right now. But it is going to be... O'Reilly has actually got past Gary, so he gets the final podium position. But it is Ian who takes the win here at the second race at Laguna. It is Friedman who will finish in second. O'Reilly will finish in third. With Gary Leach in fourth. Cloud is going to hang on for fifth. Duffin in sixth. Diz in seventh. Skunky will finish in eighth. And he managed to get ahead of Andy. So Skunky in eighth. Andy in ninth. Who Darren will finish in 10th. Taylor in 11th. Stardog will just hang on against John Goudet. Old sim racer on his own for pretty much most of that race. He's going to come home now for a solid P14 for him. Matt Wright in the end, a 15th place position, with DJ Phil in 16th, Lucas finishing in 21st. KLF is going to cross the line and finish in 17th ahead of Rob Smith, with Collins in 19th and Tipping rounding out the final positions. But it's Ian who takes the win on that one, ahead of Will Friedman, ahead of O'Reilly for your top three in the championship. Once again, we're going to have a quick short break as we get ourselves recovered and ready to go for our final 5-minute qualifying session and then head into our final 20-minute race. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and into our final qualifying session we go. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Everyone should be able to go out and qualify for this one, and it is going to be Diz once again who gets out in front. He's going to be the one starting this off. If you guys still in the pit lane, still not managed to get themselves going just yet, probably waiting to get that space, but as long as they get out there before the end of the 5 minutes and get a lap time across the line, then that's what they are aiming for here. 5 minute session, so like I said, it is a very quick and short qualifying session. You mess up your lap, you are going to be starting further down the order. Let's have a look at how the championship standings are looking after that one. So Matthew Duff is still leading the way at the moment, but it is a Will Friedman who's bringing that gap down. 77 points separating those two at this stage, with Skunky High sitting in that P3 position. Ian now in P4 with Diz in P5. Clouden level 1 points of him in P6 with Sam in P7. P8 is Hugh Darren. P9 is Andy. Leach is now up into P10. Bell is currently in 11th place with Tipping in 12th. The Porsche driver of Old Sim Racer in 13th with the Aston Martin driver of Nuclear Waste 14th. KLF in 15th, level 1 points with Nuclear Waste, with Rob Smith in 16th. Shane dropping down to 17th with DJ Phil 18th, 19th O'Reilly, 20th is Taylor, 21st is Shundelmeyer, 22nd is Susie's Green, Lucas now 23rd, Rolo 24th, Stardog 25th, Collins 26th. Pontin in 27th, Goudet 28th, 29th is John Andrews, 30th is Wright, and Beasley still at the back of the pack. It is going to be Diz who's going to set the pace here. And a few cars now coming back out on track. Who Darren, Collins and Tippin's not wanting to go out here by the looks of things. So if they want to get out, they have to get out ASAP and try not to get in anyone's way with their lap times. And a reminder as well for your drivers who have got weight on board, it is Matthew Duffin, Matthew Duffin with 20 kilos, 40 kilos. Oh, that's all changed now, obviously. Because some of the guys obviously will still be carrying this weight throughout the entire session. So even though they're now down in the points, they came into the championship in second. So they will have that weight carrying through them from the entire event. Now, Clouden is relatively close to Diz here. So Diz going to set the pace, 31.5. What is Clouden going to do? He does a 30.5. We know O'Reilly has done a 29. Duff into the line. He only goes P2. Now Skunky is coming to the line. Ian goes now into P1. Skunky goes P4 as O'Reilly is the one to keep an eye on here. As Friedman now goes P3, and there we go. O'Reilly once again doing that 29. A very quick lap time from him. Stardog goes into 8th place, and Goudet now goes into 11th place position. KLF really needs to get this lap time on the board. There's a few more cars coming to the end of their lap. It is Andy. He goes P10. DJ Phil is currently on a lap, and so is Gary as well. Guys in the pits is Taylor, Old Sim Racer, and Collins and Tipping not going to set a lap time. So who's that in the final few corners there? That is the 53, I believe, of DJ Phil. Yes, it is. He will manage to sneak himself another lap here. DJ Phil to the line. Goes into P14. We now wait for Diz to come to the line. Cloudon's caught him up relatively quickly here. So Diz, if he improves, so will Cloudon. He does improve, and Cloudon is in P1 now. He does a 29.8. Duffin did not improve, but he will get another lap. Ian now does a 29.2. A very quick lap time from him there. And Skunky crosses the line, no improvement. What does Will Friedman have? He goes P3 with that one. O'Reilly doesn't improve and stays P4. So it's now down to the last few laps here from people. Lucas will start 11th. Here comes Goudet. He goes 10th. KLF gets a lap time on the board this time. Who's just improved? Gary Leach goes up to 5th. A few other guys to improve. That was... Darren gets a lap time on the board, so he goes to 10th place position. Andy stays in 13th. We now look to DJ Phil, I believe, is on a lap. Yes, he is. He is the leading car. And we got DJ Phil, Diz, Clouden, and Duffin are the only ones left to try and improve their positions. So DJ Phil now into the final corner. He's gone incredibly deep, nearly drops it, but he keeps it going. Is this going to be an improvement? That is the question. No improvement from him. Diz now to the line. He does improve and goes up a place. Clouden couldn't improve. He will start in 2nd. Duffin, no. Does he improve? He goes 6th. A little improvement there from him, better than 9th place position. But this time it's Ian on pole position ahead of Jamal Clouden, ahead of Friedman for the 3, and O'Reilly 2 pole positions to his name. He's now not going to get the 3rd. He's going to have to start 4th in this one. Gary Leach in 5th, Duffin in 6th, Diz in 7th, Wright in 8th, Skunky in 9th with Darren in 10th, Stardog 11th, Goudet in 12th, Andy in 13th, Lucas 14th, Rob Smith in 15th place position, DJ Phil 16th, KLF 17th, Taylor 18th, Old Sim Racer 19th, Collins 20th, and tipping right at the back of the pack. And once again, guys, like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. We'll be live once again tomorrow night with myself and Matthew Duffin bringing you the action for Pro-Am, as they will now try and tackle Laguna Seca in these lovely warm conditions here in California. Also, as well, the pros will be making their return once again on Thursday night. This lovely weather is going to be with us for a majority of the week. It's looking like it is going to stay like this for the rest of the week. And then once we get this round done and out of the way, we head to the Temple of Speed for the next round of the season. We head to Italy, to Monza, the home of Ferrari. Will Ferrari take a win at its home circuit? And I think we've lost a driver. We have. Who we lost? We've lost Gary Leach.
10 seconds.
Once again, his internet playing up and causing chaos there. He is out of this race. If he manages to get in, he'll start from pit lane. We're going to need to get into the session as soon as he possibly can. But Gary Leach, once again, his internet causing him strafe, and he is out of this race as we now get things underway here for the 3rd and final time. So keep an eye out for a very, very fast Gary Leach at the back of the pack in his Ginetta. And guys, don't forget, if you're on the stream, please, like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified so we don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Head into the description as well and have a look at our fantastic sponsors. Design Manchester, sponsors of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs and printed clothing, and much, much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Or Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter 4 audio solutions and styling products. www.audiosport.co.uk and Facebook as well. As Ian has returned now to the pits. I am not sure why he has returned to the pits. That's very strange. I'm going to try and find out why he's returned. But yeah, He's ended up back in the pits. As well, as we head to Monza for the 5th round of the season, we then head to Snetterton for the 6th. 7th will be Barcelona. 8th will be the doubleheader of Spain of Valencia and Barcelona together. Suzuka is round 9. Round 10 is Circuit of the Americas. Round 11 is Autumn Park, and we finish things off at Donington Park, the home of SimPlay Motorsport. So now Ian off the front row. It is Clouden who is on pole position. And what can Clouden do here? He's got some very, very fast cars behind him. He's in a very quick car himself, a big, heavy Chevy though. It's going to be difficult for anyone to get past. But once again, the GT4 is coming back with a bang and some brilliant racing as well. We've missed them after Kyle Army's night race. We weren't able to see them make it onto the grid due to Xbox having issues with their servers. I'm sure at some point PlayStation would do theirs. But nonetheless, it is going to be Porsche versus Chevy on the front row. Keep an eye out for Ian and Gary, who'll have to start from the pit lane now. We are green and go here, and Clouden taking a very interesting line as he heads down towards turn number 1. And Will Friedman and O'Reilly come together, but that's just helped Friedman up the inside and take the lead of this race. But Porsche now lead the race ahead of O'Reilly, and Duffin's now trying to work his way past the Ginetta as quickly as he possibly can. But it's Friedman leading from Clouden, who had pretty much the lead to himself, but he messed it up as they all work their way through the first sector. Ian has managed to get going, as Leach has only now been released. For Friedman now up to the left-hander. The pressure of the Chevy Camaro breathing down his neck. Right behind him. Meanwhile, we got John Goudet losing a position there to Matt Wright, who's dropped down the order. So Matt Wright actually losing the position. Everyone else working it through the order as KLF now gets past Lucas on the outside going into the corkscrew. It's a lovely move for him there. But your top 4 all relatively close. Diz once again just outside of the pace of the top 4, not able to stick with them in that BMW. Not able to use the BMW straight line advantage here to help him out. Meanwhile, Cloudenote now coming onto the back of Friedman here. Is he going to look to try and send it up into turn number 1? He's very much later on the brakes, but he goes too deep. He does get a good exit though. Is he going to try and then send it into turn 2? Takes a lot of dirt, runs wide, and that run he just had has been taken away. Duffin just dropping off the back of these 3 at the minute, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Into the left-hander they go. Friedman from Clouden from O'Reilly, your top 3 in this race. Going at it tooth and nail. There's a good little scrap forming behind. This is once again the 2 Alpines. This time Rob Smith and Taylor going at it. KLF's passed Old Sim Racer, and KLF seems to have a lot better race this time round. Skunky has cleared, or he's under pressure from actually Goudet. So Skunky under a little bit of pressure here, trying to go with Darren, but can't seem to do so. And Goudet right on the rear wing. Skunky running a little bit wide. But Jamal Clouden was getting closer to Friedman, but he's just lost some pace once again. Through 2 and 1, there you go. O'Reilly setting fastest lap of the race. Runs a little bit wide there. Darren, meanwhile, is still looking to try and pass Diz, who's a little bit off the leader's pace. Matthew Duffin just sitting in no man's land at the minute. Taylor and Rob Smith still going at it as I think Rob Smith, yes, he's gone very wide and he's going to go into the wall. Yes, he is. It stays to the right, left-hand side. Meanwhile, DJ Phil is fighting Lucas and he gets that job done nicely. But once again, Friedman just trying to pull away from the Chevy. But at the minute, Jamal Clouden is going with him. Looks like he's gained a little bit of time here, but Jamal Clouden looking like he's kind of tidied up his corkscrew a little bit and is able to now just stick to Will Friedman, but not able to do anything with it at this stage. Skunky has lost out to Goudet, so Goudet's now made a position, and Hugh Darren is now starting to pressurise Diz once again. And Jamal Clouden just seems to struggle in the slow corners at the minute. That's where the Porsche seems to pull away. And at this stage, the Ginetta of O'Reilly is now starting to give Clouden a little bit of a headache. So O'Reilly now waiting for a slight mistake from the Chevy to make his life a little bit easier. He looks left, he looks right, he can't find a way through at this stage. He just has to sit and wait. Who Darren, meanwhile, on the back of Diz. Further back, Skunky's really struggling this race, has not got a lot of pace in that car. Rob Smith now has got onto the back of old Sim Racer after losing out to Taylor earlier on. And Tipping as well, looking to make a move on DJ Phil, but can't find a way through at this stage. But Friedman now starting to stretch his legs a little bit. Fastest lap to his name, he's taken that away from O'Reilly. He's got a little bit deep into the corkscrew there. That's going to bring them a little bit closer. Duffin had no answer to these guys at this stage. He's not quite on their pace as Hugh Darren is still trying to find a way through on Diz. Hugh Darren looking up the inside. The size of the Beamer compared to the Alpine is huge. And Diz hanging in there. So as I thought, the corkscrew has slowed Friedman down a little bit and has allowed Clouden and O'Reilly to get a little bit closer once again. Right, trying to get onto the back of Skunky. Old Sim Racer still trying to stick to KLF. Then he's dropped off of him. The gap was 3 tenths, it's now 9 tenths, and Rob Smith's going with them also. Tipping is on the back of DJ Phil, who's on the right hand side. DJ Phil is going to just lose out to Tipping there, and up the inside goes Tipping. Oh, Andy with a lot of damage to his car there as he tries to work his way around. O'Reilly pretty much pushing Clouden now. Really wants that position. I think if O'Reilly got released from Clouden, he would be able to hunt down Freeman, and that would be an interesting fight between the end of the race. Maybe that's something that Clouden could do. Maybe lose the fight to win the war here. Because now he's losing time to Friedman, who's just pulling away. And Hugh Darren once again, he's actually lost a position here as Diz is got Goudet right behind him. So something must have gone on between Hugh Darren and Diz, because both of them have lost time to cars around them. And Hugh Darren sliding so much, that's going to give Wright a look up the inside towards turn number 1. And he's going to get the job done. The Alpine, not very strong in a straight line. And gets done by the Aston Martin of Matt. Goudet now pretty much pushing Diz at this stage of the race. But can't find a way through at this stage. Who Darren's still trying to stick to the Aston Martin behind, trying to capitalise on any mistake like that. And there he goes, around he goes, and right in the wall. And that was what Hugh Darren was waiting for. Meanwhile, Friedman starting to increase the gap to Clouden, O'Reilly and Duffin now. is starting to work his way back onto this group. And like I said, Cloudon's too busy fighting O'Reilly, which is allowing Duffin to recover and come back. As I say that, it looks like Friedman's had a little bit of a moment through the corkscrew, because they've gained back on him once again, not by a massive amount, but enough to make him a little bit worried. Meanwhile, Goudet still hustling the back of Diz. Or nearly hits the back of Diz as well, so needs to be a little bit cautious there. But there's your top four at the minute. Any other fights going on? It's Ian has cleared Stardog. He's now on the back of Tipping. Gary Leach hasn't caught Lucas yet, so Gary's slowly working his way onto the back of the pack. Ian is up the inside of Tipping. Job done in the final corner, and on away he goes. Once again, O'Reilly's just onto the back of the Chevy Camaro, but it's so big he can't find a way through. Diz, meanwhile, still got Goudet pressurizing him. Up into the left-hander, there you go. Cloudon still trying to keep his head cool. Halfway through this race, he's not got long to go to get another second place to his name. I think because he's focused purely on O'Reilly, they've not really got any answer to the Porsche driver of Friedman, who's just walking away at this stage of the race. O'Reilly looks to the outside. He's going to force Cloudon to go deep. He does. O'Reilly gets the run. He gets the undercut. But he's not far enough alongside. And that Chevy will be much faster in a straight line than the Ginetta. And Duffin's now back into the fight. Down towards turn number one. O'Reilly once again getting really close to Cloudon. He gives him a push. He gives him a nudge. But still can't find a way through, and Duffin's now onto the scene. Goudet still trying to find a way past Diz, and Cloudon's made a mistake. He's ran wide, and that's going to give O'Reilly the inside. Cloudon's going to hold it strong on the outside. They give each other racing room. Cloudon has a snap, and Duffin now works his way through, and O'Reilly gains up into second. But Cloudon's going to try and stay up the inside of Duffin, and he hangs in there. He hangs onto the third place position. But Matt's still on the outside. But Cloudon manages to swoop into position. Now, the pace that we've been seeing from O'Reilly should just disappear. Meanwhile, Goudet still can't seem to find a way past on Diz at this precise stage. With only like 8 minutes left of this race, can O'Reilly do anything about Friedman, who's into the penultimate corner? I say that, and O'Reilly's ran wide. Cloudon has to go to the outside and try and muscle his way around, as O'Reilly will keep the inside, push him wide. Very tight racing here. Duffin sits in the slipstream. Straight line advantage of the Chevy coming along here. He's going to get alongside the Ginetta. He's on the wrong side of the track, though. And Duffin sees an opportunity and goes down the inside of Cloudon. Duffin was waiting for that opportunity. Sends up the inside and gets the job done on Cloudon. Cloudon just taking one too many curbs, bouncing over him. And there we go. O'Reilly managed just to hold that position. Diz has now made a mistake. And Goudet's looking to the outside. Is he going to get the job done? He's going to run wide, though. Skunky is coming through as well. So Diz holds onto the position. But also Goudet losing out to Skunky, who's going to go around the outside. And Goudet's hit Diz. Trying to hold on to the position. He's hit Diz. And a silly error there from John Goudet. Missed his brakes, just trying to hold the position. And Diz loses out, as does Goudet. And Taylor thinks, oh, it's my birthday, I gained 2 positions here. Skunky High also up into 5th place position now. He's going to be well happy with that one. Gap though now to Friedman, 3.2. Can O'Reilly do anything about it? As Duffin has got to worry about Cloudon, who's going to look to the final corner. He has a look up the inside. Should have gone for it. He was close enough, but he thought better of it and held back behind Duffin. 3.2 is the gap. That is old Sim Racer. I'm not sure why he's come to a stop. They want to head back into the pits if he's stopping there. Meanwhile, DJ Phil and Lucas are going at it into the corkscrew. Oh, there's a car off there. Who's that off? It's John Goudet. He's had a moment. So even the contact with Diz, he's dropped further back. He's dropped down all the way with Andy. So KLF gains a position as the Stardog and Tipping, who are fighting out. So does Rob Smith. And Ian as well. So a lot of cars. Even though Ian started from pit lane, he's up into 10th place position. So a 10th has been brought down by Friedman and O'Reilly. So I really do think that Friedman, as long as he keeps his cool, there's no real fight going to be happening there. As I will start a poll up for driver of the day. It's been a great night's worth of racing once again from the GT4s. It's been close, it's been packed and hard racing. But in the end, Will Friedman's been looking pretty solid here tonight, as has Kieran O'Reilly. Duffin and Clouden are still going at it. Clouden's up the inside. Duffin is also trying to hold on to this position. Is Clouden going to go too deep? Yes, he is. The Chevy, like I said, not the best on its brakes. Runs wide, and that's allowed Duffin back through once again. And into the middle sector they go. And again, like I said, because these two are too busy fighting, O'Reilly's just gone up the road and disappeared. He's nearly got the same gap he has got to Friedman. And again, that gap is just staying at around 2/10. He's or a tenth or two he's taking him out, but not a lot here. Everyone else split by a second at least. With only 4 minutes left of this race, it is Friedman leading the way from O'Reilly. From Duffin and Clouden are going side by side up to the corkscrew. Clouden going to try and be later on the brakes, but Duffin's better on the brakes and gets the job done, stays ahead. Skunky in 5th, but he's made a mistake somewhere because now Hugh Darren's up the inside. But Skunky later on the brakes keeps the position. Gets a little bit squirrely on exit. And Hugh Darren looking for a way through the two checkered cars. And Hugh Darren looks to the outside. Skunky just about gives him room. Diz now sitting behind Taylor, who's 7th and 8th. 9th is Matt Wright. 10th is Ian. 11th is Tipping. Stardog is 12th. And John Goudet and KLF are going at it for 13th and 14th. That's close. Andy 15th. 16th is Rob Smith. Gary Leach is now 17th. Matt Luke Collins in 18th. DJ Phil 19th. Lucas 20th. And 21st is Old Sim Racer. Once again, Clouden just trying to take as many curves he possibly can just to give Duffin a bit of a headache. The gap to the leaders was 3 seconds. It's now 2.3, but I think O'Reilly's going to run out of time. And Goudet has managed to get past KLF. Is KLF going to think of sending it into turn number 1? He's not quite close enough. Takes a lot of good momentum through there and a good exit as well. But the Mercedes has a much better grunt. This is your closest fight on track. Is Clouden going to try and send it up the inside? Here comes Jamal Clouden and Matthew Duffin. There's the ball out for driver of the day. And the gap, once again, 1.6 to the leaders. O'Reilly is on a mission and hunting down Friedman. I might be wrong, he might catch him on the very last lap here. We shall see. But Jamal Clouden still finding any opportunity he can to get himself back past Duffin, but can't seem to do so at this stage. Matt Wright putting Hugh Darren under some pressure, so Hugh Darren's lost a lot of places here. Yeah, he has. He's dropped right off there. And through goes Matt Wright. That was really easy for him. Will Ian get him just before the end? That is the question. Clouden once again pushing the Mercedes-Benz down the hill. There's Will. There's O'Reilly. The gap is significantly smaller. And it's going to be interesting to the very end now. Friedman trying to hold off Kieran O'Reilly right to the very end. 1.3 was the gap from the last sector. It is now 7/10. Oh, we got a game on for a race win, and we still got a game on for the final podium position. Matt versus Clouden. And Clouden will want a podium over Duffin. He's looking to the outside of turn one. He's not far enough alongside to get it done, but he wants a better exit to try and send it into the next corner. Duffin defends it though and keeps hold of the position. Meanwhile, O'Reilly is there. 4/10 now between these two. He's going to try and send it right at the very end. I've got to try and make sure I don't miss this. Meanwhile, Hugh Darren's coming back at Matt Wright. Also, DJ Phil's on Rob Smith. So it's all happening right at the very end. But Duffin's still hanging in there ahead of Clouden. O'Reilly, though, up towards the hill. This is for the race win. So O'Reilly going to try and finish the race with a win. And Will going a bit deep into the corkscrew. That's going to make him vulnerable. Clouden also looking to attack Matt up into the corkscrew. Has Matt gone deep? No, he's going to hold on to that position. Yes, he is. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. But Will Friedman, O'Reilly to the final corner. Friedman defends the inside. Riley will want to try and get a better exit. He'll cut the corner, but he's touched too much of the curb. He loses out. Will Friedman will take the win here. Congratulations to him, and he takes fastest lap. Well done, Will Friedman. O'Reilly will finish in second, and Matthew Duffin is just going to hang in there for P3 ahead of Cloud, who pretty much pushes him across the line. Skunky is now going to come home for a P5, with Taylor finishing in 6th. Diz is going to finish in 7th. 8th is going to go the way of Matt Wright. Ian is going to finish in 9th. And Hugh Darren in the end dropping down the pace. He's dropped right off. He finishes in the top 10 now. Stardog is going to come home for 11th place position. Tipping is going to finish in 12th. John Goudet is going to finish in 13th place position. Gary Leach, even though he left pit lane very late as well, he's going to get himself in 14th place position ahead of KLF, who's going to finish in 15th place position. Andy, with major damage to the front end of his car, finishing in 16th, with Matthew Collins going to finish in that 17th place position. Rob Smith going against DJ Phil just at the very end there for 18th and 19th, with Old Sim Racer in 21st and Lucas in 20th place. But a very dramatic end to that race. O'Reilly got so close to Friedman, but Friedman just managed to hang in there, as did Clouden and Duffin, only separated by a 10th by the end of that one. So far, votes are going of the way of Friedman for driver of the day, and I don't blame you guys for voting for him, because he's had a spectacular day's worth of racing. And we do have Matthew in the box with us. Like I said, I will figure out a way to do the Discord chat, but we'll just do it this way for now. Matt, tonight's been a bit of an up and down night. It's not been easy. The first two races really didn't go your way at all, but race 3 there, your fight with Jamal Clouden right at the very end was very entertaining. Just sum up your evening.
Well, like you said, up and down, really. That was the main thing about it. Just, we knew we were going to struggle here with ballast.
Obviously, you've had a couple of good fights here. Clouding right at the end there, he was really pushing you right to the very end. You seem to be enjoying that one. Laguna Seca, has it been good to you tonight, or do you feel like it's...
Yeah. I felt like I had the pace to be where I was all night. To be fair, race 1 we had the tap round from, can't remember who, and then race 2 I caught the back of Cloud at the corkscrew, so that's kind of made the results, I think, look worse than what they should have been. I think we're 5th and 6th, I think the roundabouts is where I should have been.
Obviously, the Mercedes-Benz was in real life has actually got the lap record round this circuit. It did seem quite strong around here. Did it feel relatively strong, or were you struggling with certain places?
No, the car felt absolutely fantastic. It was literally just every time you got onto a bit of a straight, you know, I'd really gained through the corners and was able to carry some speed through the corners. But the minute you got onto that straight, especially coming out the final corner, you know, I think there was a couple of occasions tonight I got a run up the inside of Friedman and Clouden in race 2, got a run on Clouden in this race, a couple of runs in race 1. It just, the weight, and you could really feel it today compared to Misano. I think the corners at Misano allow you to not feel the weight as much, but here today you could really feel that weight. That was tough, but the Mercedes felt planted. If it's got the lap record here, I'm not surprised, because it was an absolute, you know, dream to drive it. Without ballast, who knows what would have been, but with ballast, yeah, just hard.
And obviously, talking about ballast, we head to Monza, the temple of speed.
Yeah.
You're still leading the championship as well. You're going to be carrying that 40 kilos. How do you think you're going to get on there?
It's going to be a struggle. I carried weight 40 kilos at Monza in the BMW a few seasons back in Pro-Am. That was with a restrictor, and that was tough. So next week's going to be just as hard. There is rain lurking around on the weather forecast that I've seen, and a lot of it. So kind of hoping for that bit of weather for next week. Try and maybe balance it out a little bit. But you've seen tonight what the weight's going to do. You know, and the corners there are just sharp chicanes. If you're not alongside, you're not getting the move done into them. So, yeah, I think next week could be tough. But, you know, we had a good Kyle Army given a good Misano given the glitches at Apertures. We come away with 3 second places. And we started the season really well with 2 wins in the second place. When you've got this weight, you're going to feel it. And this is why we put the weight on. It's like touring cars. You are going to feel that weight. The more you're carrying it and the more that drives around, you lose it. You know, Skunky didn't seem to have a great night tonight. He was second. Friedman was running 10 kilograms lighter than me. He was third. You know, and you could see that, especially in the pace. Friedman was a quick guy in general, but the pace, I think, tonight showed that, you know, he had that 10 kilos lighter.
Definitely so. But nonetheless, mate, you leave here 66 points ahead of Friedman going into Monza. So congratulations.
Cheers, boy. But can I just say a massive congrats as well to Clouden and to Friedman. They drove fantastic tonight.
And that is that. And your driver of the day has gone a split way of O'Reilly and Friedman. For me, I'm going to have to just tip it over to O'Reilly. Just been phenomenal tonight. Yes, he's had no weight on board, and yes, he's had the qualifying, but nonetheless, he's done the job. Regarding the championship, it looks like this. Matthew Duffin leading the way, 66 points ahead of Will Friedman with 415 points to his name. Friedman in second place, with Skunky now in third, with Ian in that fourth place position. Jamal Cloud in fifth. Sixth is Diz. Hugh Darren is seventh. Sam is eighth. Ninth is Andy. 10th is Leach. 11th is Tipping. 12th is Bell. O'Reilly in 13th. KLF 14th. Old Sim Racer in 15th. Rob Smith in 16th. Nuclear Waste 17th. Taylor in 18th. 19th is Phil. 20th is Shane. 21st is Lucas. Sky in 22nd. Susie's Cream 23rd. Stardog 24th. Collins 25th. Rolo 26th. Goudet in 27th. Wright in 28th. 29th is Pontin, and John Andrews 30th. 31st Yoshi, and in 32nd place position is Beasley. That is it from us here at SimPlay Motorsport. We will be back tomorrow night live for the Pro-Am sitting at Laguna Seca with myself and Matthew Duffin, and join us as well on Thursday night with Matthew Duffin and Phil Radin, as they will give you all of the action for the pro category as well. But for the GT4s, it's been a fantastic night's worth of racing once again, and we shall see them once again at the Temple Speed at Monza in a week's time. Good night.